Hello, my name is Luke Moore. I'm a fourth year student here at TUS, and for my TED Talk, I'm going to be doing my heading on body image and workplace confidence. This is something that has shaped my confidence all the way through my school life, college life, and now my work life. While it hasn't happened on my placement, but it has happened in my first few jobs in my life, and it has shaped my confidence in a bad way, I would say. For as long as I can remember, I've struggled with body confidence. It's something that has really affected me, as I know I'm good enough to do, for instance, my sport life. I know I'm good enough to start in teams, but I know I never got picked because of how I was perceived, how small I was. In my work life, sometimes I wasn't taken seriously because of how young I looked, and I just had really bad problems with my body image. And then in school, I got picked on a lot. Even in college, I've gotten picked on at the start when I first started in first year. I was constantly getting picked on. But I've learned to I've learned to deal with this because I've dealt with it my whole life, so it didn't affect me as much. But at the start, when I was younger, it really did. And in this talk, I want to challenge the way we think about body image and how it impacts us in the workplace, and most importantly, how we can take back control. So, when I read about self esteem in the context of rheumatic diseases, something here clicked to me. It does link with something I have personally. I had scoliosis from the age of 17 on to 20 until I was 22. Recently got operated. So this has got now gone, and it has affected my life greatly, my professional life and my social life. It has been tied in with my moods and my behaviors in ways that shape my present and future. But when I read about the rheumatic diseases for people with chronic conditions like rheumatic arthritis, coping with the disease plays a huge role in their self worth. And while I don't have rheumatic disease, as I said, I had scoliosis. It was something not similar to rheumatic disease, but it was something similar in the way that it was something I had no control over, and it was limiting how I saw myself because my whole body was kind of lopsided. I was kind of like this, and I was small. It made me shorter. But after my operation, I actually gained 2 inches, which was great for my body confidence. In relation to this, Leon and colleagues explored the relationship between self-esteem and health, particularly in the context of these rheumatic disease. They found that self-esteem isn't just a vague sense of confidence, but it's a general self-assessment tied to our thoughts, mood, behavior, both present and in the future. Growing up, I never had a positive view of my body. I hated the way I looked. I hated the way I was small. I hated the way I looked young. I knew it always affected me, whether it be at work, school, college, and in sport really. I always looked young. I was small. I got picked on. My parents always told me to appreciate my body for what I could do, as I was very athletic. I was a lot fitter than a lot of people, and what I could do in the hurling field. A lot of other people couldn't do, but it did affect me as I was small and I struggled to get onto teams. Um, and because of that, I measured my worth by something I couldn't control, and you should never ever do this. In 2024, researchers like Zhu and colleagues examined this by the psychological challenges linked to body image and disturbance, obesity, and overweight. Their findings suggest that developing a positive body image early in life is crucial for long-term well-being. But there's a problem. Most body image research has focused on preventing or treating body dissatisfaction rather than promoting positive body image traits like body appreciation, body acceptance, and valuing what the body can do, which I explained before. So in the workplace, now I've had many issues with my body image and confidence in the workplace. I've always felt the same struggles. While I've been fortunate to work in very supportive environments, there have been moments where I've questioned whether my appearance impacted how I was perceived. It's easy to feel excluded when you don't sense that people don't take it seriously as others do because of how I looked. And in school, those small moments, whether it's dismissive comment, whether being overlooked in discussion, or even feeling like you have to laugh along with a joke at your expense, which I have done many times in my professional life, in work and in school. Um, Research shows that bullying can have serious consequences for employees' health, confidence, and overall job satisfaction. And I've really felt that personally. It often takes the form of continuous criticism, exclusion, or even hostile reactions and practical jokes. And when I read that, it really hit home because I was always getting sly digs off colleagues in past jobs, such as when I worked as a waiter, when I worked in shift work, and when I worked behind a bar. There was always sly comments. Um, Negan and colleagues explored these effects of workplace bullying on employees' well-being. They found that repeated negative behaviors like constant criticism, exclusion, or hostile jokes, these can severely impact both mental and physical health, and that really resonated with me. But growing up, being picked on for how I looked made me feel my worth. It made me feel my lack of worth in the workplace. But those feelings just never disappeared. Subtle comments or feeling excluded can bring back the same sense of not being enough, and research shows this. So recent research has consistently shown that bullying doesn't just affect individuals; it affects entire workplaces and work colleagues that that partake in it and that can see it happening, and they don't say anything, or they're afraid to say anything. It is linked to higher absenteeism, lower job satisfaction, and even a stronger intention to leave a job. I never understood why other people picked on people for how they looked, or how they, it never clicked with me of why someone would do that, and so I never did it. I feel like there's a sense of maybe jealousy within themselves, that they feel like they have to pick on someone to make themselves feel better, or how they were reared when they were younger. They were never told that they shouldn't do that. But bullying is the worst, and I have experienced that firsthand throughout my whole life. Not because I lacked ability, but because I was worried that someone wouldn't be taken seriously, and I know I'm not alone on this. Uh, Researchers like Tukey and colleagues in 2024, they examined the impact of bullying on the workplace dynamics. They found a strong evidence that bullying doesn't just harm individuals, it disrupts the entire organizations. It can push talented people away, and I am a talented person in the workplace, so I have felt sometimes that I wanted to leave a job because of what was going on, and yeah, it can happen, but it hasn't happened to me. I've never left a job because of getting picked on for my appearance. Um, Appearance anxiety is a form of body anxiety where obsessive thoughts about flaws leads to excessive self-checking and comparison. And I do this every single day, and I know that I shouldn't, but I'm constantly comparing myself. I've really bad appearance anxiety. It has improved since I got my operation, but yeah, it's something that I struggle with every day. Um, there was a In 2024, Dane Gosh studied appearance anxiety, showing how obsessing over perceived flaws affects confidence and behavior. And I relate to that deeply. Being small and looking young made me overthink how I was perceived in the workplace, and I adjust my posture sometimes. As I said, my scoliosis affected this as well, but it has improved. I'd rehearse my words and second guess if I look professional enough, and their research highlights this, and it goes far beyond appearance anxiety. That concludes my TED talk today. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope next time, if you're seeing this, that you next time you want to maybe say something sly, or a sly remark, or take the mick out of someone, I hope you stop and think for a minute. Would I like someone to say this to me? And yeah, that's just something that I think that everyone should just think before you say something, because it could affect someone's feelings. Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed that.